Okay, the WWE Draft is a week from Friday, so it looks like we're doing another brand split. Oh, brother. Good grief. I get bored with these every year. Anyway, let's talk about what will happen the night of it. The main event is that the Universal Tag Belts, Undisputed Tag Belts, are going on the line. The Usos challenging Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And unfortunately, as much as I don't like it, I do understand why it has to happen. Usos are going to regain the tag titles, but not for the reasons you think. It's predominantly for two reasons. One, May 27th, Night of Champions, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. It's both to essentially keep the name intact and have all the titles be on the line. And two, it's to avoid an international incident. Namely, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have openly stated for differing reasons they are not going to perform in Saudi Arabia. For the former, it was after the horrible experience getting to Saudi Arabia, I believe during one of the 2018 or 2019 shows. I don't remember which one it was that he did attend. And after that, he said never again. And Kevin said never again. And for Sammy, it's racial issues. I mean, it's issue of ethnicity. Namely, in his case, being the son of Syrian immigrants who moved to Canada just to escape persecution. The minute he steps foot on Saudi soil, the Saudi authorities are going to, they're one, at best, arrest Sammy, lock, give him an unfair trial, lock the door, have him imprisoned, lock the door, throw away the key, and leave him to rot. Or two, worst case scenario, shoot him on sight. That begs the question: if this happens and we skip the bloodline basically being Sammy, Owens, and Riddle into the ground at Backlash on May 6th, when do you have the rubber match that serves as a rematch? Do you have it at Money in the Bank on July 1st in London, or do you have it at SummerSlam August 5th in Detroit? Because here's my reason for that. Why carry this feud out to those points in time? When it was announced on Friday that Paul Heyman finagled and basically strong armed Adam Pearce to get the rematch, Roman, he said that the tribal chief had lost his patience with the two of you, but he was looking directly at Jimmy and Jay. So this means so it's ambiguous. Is Roman fed up with Jimmy and Jay, or is he fed up with Kevin and Sammy? And you can make an argument both ways. On the one hand, Jimmy and Jay have shown their inability to get the job done, i.e., getting rid of the KO Sammy problem. But on the other hand, KO and Sammy have been a couple of thorns in his side for months. So again, this argument could go either way. And even if the Usos do get the titles back, and believe me, they will, I'm pretty sure they will, this relief of being in the crosshairs of the tribal chief, it's brief. It's going to be brief, in my opinion. Why? Because right now, Roman's trust in Jimmy and Jay, let me get some. Prove the point. Is like this. It stands on the edge of a knife. Screw up one more time, and they're gone. situation Jimmy and Jay find themselves in. Screw up on Friday, they're out of the bloodline. Even if you win on next Friday and get the tag titles back, you're still on a razor's edge. And if Solo is going to be the linchpin to getting the titles back, this proves another thing. Roman no longer trusts Jimmy, can no longer trust Jimmy and Jay to do anything on their own. He's treating them like children, in a similar vein as to how he basically made Sammy jump through hoops like a show dog just to prove his loyalty until Sammy had enough of it at the Royal Rumble. If you have that tag title rematch to serve as the rubber match, I say do it at SummerSlam. We're obviously getting a buffer team to face the Usos and get their butts kicked at Night of Champions. And we'll probably get another one in London. And especially when there's more money to do it at SummerSlam than at Money in the Bank. And if Kevin and Sammy win the titles back at SummerSlam and repeat the WrestleMania result, I'm going to be blunt. That's going to be the straw that breaks the tribal chief's back. Fed up with Jimmy and Jay's incompetence and inability to get rid of Kevin and Sammy once and for all, he will sick Solo and the soon-to-be new member of the bloodline that will debut at the Slam on Jimmy and Jay. Who is this new member? Toko Uso, a.k.a. Jeremiah Fatu, who I find a little stupid to even bring in now. I mean, the guy's 36, which is way too old to even start a wrestling career, in my opinion. Most people, when they get into pro wrestling, usually do it in their mid to late teens at the soonest, early 20s at the latest. Because by the time you hit your mid 30s, your body is starting to give out on you. You can't keep up with the frenetic paces or hard hits of a professional wrestler who's had like 10, 20, or even 10, 15, or even 20 years under their belts, especially of the younger crops. But either way, this would create a new tag team to get the belts back, the Samoan Enforcers. I would have said SWAT team, but MLW's got claims to that. But Major League Wrestling already has the claims to the Samoan SWAT team name. Either way, this would essentially open the eyes of Jimmy and Jay and finally get them to realize Roman never gave a rat's ass about them. All he cared about was solidifying his own position. The classic neutral evil villain archetype. The individual who's in it solely for themselves and will basically abuse others to get what they want and to get where they need to go. Now, this would set up a couple of matches for the Usos to try to get their revenge on Roman, and they'll get clobbered. Now, this is provided if Roman retains at SummerSlam. Because personally, fans are getting sick of this. They are calling Roman and Triple H out for his inability to pull the trigger at WrestleMania when it should have happened. And either Hunter rectifies it, either one, Hunter rectifies that and has Roman drop it at SummerSlam, preferably to Cody, or he sticks to his guns and makes Cody jump through hoops again, have him win the Royal Rumble again, and have him face Roman at WrestleMania again, and this time beat Roman and finally end this bullshit reign, which, if at worst, will last 1,314 days. I did the math for those wondering. Almost 4 years of a reign of terror. And this brings up my main issue with the Roman Reigns reign. Essentially, Hunter has groomed Roman to be a clone of what Triple H was 20 years ago, except no stopgaps in between the reigns. Everyone remembers the reign of terror Triple H had from 2002 to 2005. That was not a pleasant time for anyone in the WWE. Same principle here, but it's ongoing, and it's sickening to me. This whole bullshit reign should have died at WrestleMania, but no. Triple H decided to give the flaming middle finger fuck you. Trips and Vince decided to give the flaming middle finger fuck you to the fans and screw the pooch. Vince, has it occurred to you that you are stuck in a time loop, unwilling to allow more versatile and adaptable wrestlers to replace your image of macho meatheads? If I was in control creative, I would have gotten that title off Roman at WrestleMania. Hell, I would do it at SummerSlam, lickety split, and do it in a way that more or less keeps Roman from getting his usual bullshit, namely his cousins involved. Because at SummerSlam, there's only one match I know of that keeps Roman in and the rest of the bloodline out, and it has to be set up this way. Roman Cody, SummerSlam, August 5th, Detroit, Ford Field, Hell in a Cell. As for the rest of the draft, I don't care how it's going to play out. I mean, maybe be for one stopgap opponent that doesn't involve a title match, you have Roman face Gunther down the line after the draft. Because there's such a dichotomous matchup between these two. Roman has constantly defended his title by playing dirty, relying on his cousins, his backup to get the job done. Gunther, on the other hand, is Intercontinental Champion. You could say he could do all that, but he chooses not to. Why? His credo, the Mattes ist heilig, or in German, which is German, for the mat is sacred. He prefers straight one-on-one combat and will beat you senseless. He prefers getting wins clean as a sheet. No questions asked. As for who gets Roman on May 27th, I'm going to say Seth Rollins. Why? Because when you look at Roman's defenses, there's still one blemish he hasn't expunged. And that's a DQ loss he suffered to Seth at the Royal Rumble last year. It still gnaws at him like a pebble in his shoe, but he's kept it in the back of his mind until now. In the back burner of his mind until now. And May 27th may be the date where Roman finally cleanses himself of that problem. And of course, Seth will have to do everything in the book to ensure everything's on the up and up, much like he did at the Royal Rumble last year. Push Roman's buttons so badly that he doesn't have Jimmy, Jay, or Solo at ringside, alongside with that fat walrus, the one who basically corrupted Roman to become what he is, Paul Heyman, who has clung to that Universal title like a leech for years. And how do you kill a leech? You burn it. But I'm not going to go that far with it. Or or you just dump salt on Paul Heyman. I've always wanted to see if he melts like the little slug that he is. But whatever. But regardless, beyond this, there's not really a damn thing I have left to say. Where everyone's going to end up? Who knows? Is this a chance to split the titles up again? Maybe, but I don't know. But it wouldn't make sense. But that wouldn't make sense. Leave a comment, smash the like, and subscribe to the channel. This is Mets2128 signing out. Till then, I must bid you adieu. So goodbye, and good fucking night. Bang.